problem. The argument is that somehow NIMBYs or a hold-up in the planning system is what's causing the housing
Chandler
crisis.
Mather,
There is
Max.
no evidence of that. So over the last 8 years, 94,
Really? No evidence?
No. So 94% of planning approvals, so planning applications in Sydney and Melbourne were approved, and 100,000 of those approved dwellings in Sydney were not built because developers will only ever build properties where they make a profit. Our point to the government is when you have land in the city, it should be held over for public
Max's
and affordable
Z-car.
housing, because what you get instead is either a developer building high-end apartments no one can afford, or land banking it and only building it when house prices
gets
are
onto
increasing
climate
again.
change.
They can only build them
Let's
if they
see.
get an approval. Yeah, so again, is there any...
Okay. His segment ended probably 5 or 10 minutes ago. Let's see how long before he merges to get into the chauffeur-driven Commonwealth limo. Good morning, Max. Welcome to Global Warming Melbourne style, mate. Mate, can I...
It feels pretty warm. We've actually got to get...
can I talk to you about an experience I had with the Greens in Melbourne a few years ago?
I'm so sorry, we've actually...
No. Okay. On the Greens Facebook page, you'll find a video of a Greens rally in Melbourne in 2014 when I was assaulted by two crowd... Why are you standing in front of me? It's a free place. I'm allowed to film in public. I was assaulted at a Greens rally in Melbourne by two thugs, and I reported it to Adam Bant, and he did nothing about it. So the Greens... Do the Greens support people being assaulted in public places? Do the Greens support people being assaulted in public places? Okay, so here's the Greens heading off in a chauffeur-driven Commonwealth limo when they bang on about climate change and tell everyone to use public transport. There's a tram stop just over there, but Max apparently has flown down from Canberra or Queensland in fuel-guzzling, CO2 belching aircraft, and then gets into a chauffeur-driven limo, also presumably... I can hear a motor running, so it's not an EV. So Max is in a chauffeur-driven, fuel-guzzling Commonwealth limo at taxpayers' expense while they bang on about everybody else reducing their emissions. They're absolute hypocrites in relation to so many issues. Anyway, what I wanted to talk to Max about was this situation that I encountered. I received an email from the Greens. Somehow I got on their mailing list in 2014. There they go. Chauffeur-driven luxury, taxpayer-funded luxury for the Green hypocrite who bangs on about climate change, but doesn't use the tram, and there's a tram stop right at the near the front door of their ABC, and he's off in his chauffeur-driven, fuel-guzzling limo. In 2014, somehow I was on the mailing list for the Greens, and I received an invitation to attend I think it was a Bust the Budget rally. Joe Hockey had brought out a budget that the Greens despised, and so I received an invitation to the Bust the Budget rally outside the State Library in Melbourne, and I went along, and while I was standing there listening to the speeches by Adam Bant and other people, a bloke came up beside me, this guy right here, and started giving me a hip and shoulder, and he said, "Why don't you fuck off, mate? Why don't you fuck off?" And I said, "Mate, it's a public place, I'll stand here if I want to." So after giving me the hip and shoulder and telling me to fuck off, that guy left, and another guy showed up. This bald-headed guy. That was the sign I was holding. Greens eventually run out of other people's money. The second thug came up beside me, gave me the hip and shoulder and said, "Why don't you fuck off, mate? Why don't you fuck off?" And I said, "Mate, it's a public place. I'll stay if I want to." So he left, and the next minute he went over and he sicked the police on me. These are screenshots. This is a screenshot from, I think it was an SBS News report that night. The police came over and asked me what I'm doing. And I said, mate, I'm standing here holding a sign. And I was just assaulted by a couple of crowd control goons. That guy there and that guy there. And one of these fellows said to me, "Well, if you are making trouble, we're going to have to ask you to move on." So I'm standing there holding a sign, and the police threaten to move me on after I've told them about being assaulted by a couple of blokes. Remember this picture? This is the thug who assaulted me first, verbally and physically. And then bugging me, the next night on the TV news, I saw this report on Channel 7 News. Trades Hall spokesman Jacob Grech, who bore a remarkable resemblance to this asshole who assaulted me the day before that 7 News report went to air. This picture is actually from a video that the Greens posted, I think on their Facebook page back in 2014, of the very demonstration that I'm talking about. There's Adam Bandt, there's thug number 1, there's thug number 2. I replied to the email that the Greens had sent me inviting me to the demonstration, and said, can I report to Adam Bandt that I attended the demonstration to which I was invited, but I was assaulted by a couple of guys. Here's a screenshot from the Greens' own Facebook page. There's Adam Bandt, there's the thug. Can you see if you can identify this guy and the bald-headed thug, and get them to apologise to me? And I'm prepared to leave that as the end of it, if that was to occur. I did get a reply from somebody at the Greens. It's a few years ago, so I don't recall exactly what it was, but I had proposed a face-to-face meeting with Adam Bandt and the 2 crowd control thugs, who I believe were associated with Melbourne Trades Hall. Face-to-face meeting where they would apologise to me, and that would have ended it. Well, the Greens never went along with that, and since that time I have approached 2 or 3 or more local Greens senators or representatives talking about this issue, and I have never had an apology from Adam Bandt or any other Greens individual, including Max what's-his-face, because in my opinion they're all slimy hypocrites. They are all slimy hypocrites. They lecture other people about what we're supposed to do, but they never acknowledge their own failings. And I just find the Greens an utterly disgusting group of people. Bill Thompson for Outside Inside.